Hello everyone and welcome back. It's been a bit of a while, hasn't it, since my last solo game. Yeah, I could really feel the distance, the time between my last couple of sessions. What was the last game I played? I think it was a Dead Letter Society. Yeah, just that the house got a bit busy with the construction work, and I was meaning to play, another game in between Christmas and New Year. But yeah, we had to focus on other things, unfortunately. But I'm back now, and we are beginning Pendragon. And from what I've seen of this solo supplement, it reminds me very much of The Raven. So the supplement itself helps you play the game. So it prompts you on rolls, what sort of stats to look up, those sorts of things, and how to interpret those stats in terms of a role-playing game. So if I open the first page, we've got to contents, and this sort of section, I think from pages 2 to 36, it's, kind of, I suppose, sort of how to play the game, your character, and I believe from pages 7 onwards to, 135, quest numbers, that is the game where you look up different sort of numbers and kind of like a choose your own adventure, but it's based on the successes and failures of rolls, let's say. So if we get into the actual game itself now, so this is Solo Quest. And the title is, of this specific adventure, The Adventure of the Sword in the Stone. So for those who don't know, Pendragon itself is set in the realms of King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table. So yes, I think medieval, think knights, think kings, think old Britain. So yeah, can't wait to play. And yeah, I shall begin with the little, I suppose, intro setting the scene. The Adventure of the Sword in the Stone takes place in the fantastical world of Pendragons. The Adventure of the Sword and Stone takes place in a fantastical world of Greg Stafford's Pendragon role-playing game. Although you normally play Pendragon with one or more friends, for this adventure all you need is a pencil, some dice, and your wits. You are playing the part of a page serving the household of a kindly aging knight named Sir Ector. His manor lies nestled in the wilds of modern-day Wales, in a tiny kingdom called Penlyn. Pages are young boys and girls between the ages of 7 and 14 who learn the ways of courtly life by observing their elders and doing menial tasks for them. After serving as pages, most girls become handmaids to ladies, though some may pursue a martial path and become squires. Boys almost always become squires, though the runts and thirdborns of the family are sometimes sent off to the priesthood. Now that you are 14, you are among those pages at court who dream of soon becoming squires to great and noble knights. Sir Ector has 2 squires in his service, his sons Kay and Arthur. Squires study the ways of knighthood while they serve. Those who are confident in themselves show promise, and who have the right connections may become knights. Most remain squires after the age of 21, and are called esquires to indicate that they are not in service to a specific knight. Kay is an accomplished squire, brave and brash, and is due to be knighted soon, as he is only too happy to remind anyone who will listen. Sir Ector says Britain will need many more knights with strong arms like Kay's in the years to come. For these are dark times indeed. The land has fallen into anarchy and despair. The last High King of Britain, Aulus Ambrosius, died 30 years ago. His brother Uther ruled for 15 years after that, from the mighty kingdom of, it's pronounced Logres, but never achieved the coveted title of High King. He died along with most nobility of Logres over the course of one fateful evening, victims all of foul Saxon treachery. That was 14 years ago, when you were still in your mother's belly. Except for that brief blessed time, you have never known a wholly peaceful world. Raised from the hill folk of the Cambrian interior, border skirmishes of neighbouring petty kingdoms, and Irish reavers from the sea trouble your land, particularly in recent years. Logres, as they say, may fall to Saxon invaders at any time. Its warlords too busy squabbling amongst themselves to mount an effective defence against the barbarians. Britain cries out for a new High King, for the return of strength, unity and stability. But here in Penlyn, on Sir Ector's estate, these troubles seem far away now. A brisk autumn breeze rolls up your hair as you step out of the manor hall and spot Arthur and Kay getting set for quintain practice. If only you could join them. Ooh. So, let me just read this bit. This adventure serves as an introduction to the world of Pendragon and the game's mechanics. Excellent. Players and game masters alike may read it. It also sets up the events of the first scenario in Book 3, The Adventure of the Sword Tournament, and provides an alternative viewpoint of one of that scenario's key moments. Interesting. So, with the Pendragon set I bought, I got the solo game, and there was books 1 to 3. Book 2 is, I think, mainly about mechanics and things to look out for that relate to the game. So it's like character personality traits, skills, that sort of thing. Book 3 is the adventure. And I think book 1 was actually the solo supplement. Yes, if I get back to the introduction now, read the following sections to get orientated, then proceed to the first numbered passage and start reading. Following the prompts based on your decisions to other numbered passages in the text. At times you're instructed to make dice rolls, both for your own character and sometimes on behalf of another. The outcomes of these rolls will also guide you to other numbered pages. Through a combination of choice and luck, you will eventually reach the end of the adventure. At that point, you proceed through a point-scoring system to see just what kind of knight you will eventually become, ranging from a wandering mercenary who promises their sword to the highest bidder, all the way to a chivalrous peer of the legendary Round Table. Okay, so as this is a sort of beginner's sort of solo quest, I have kind of read the rules a little bit, but I kind of skimmed them because what I want to do, I want to test this to see like how well it can guide me into, playing Pendragon. So yeah, I haven't properly studied the rules. I've read book 2 very lightly, but I haven't written anything down. I've kind of just skimmed it or committed it to memory without writing it, which means it hasn't really gone in. So yes, if we carry on then, another time, another world. Pendragon is set in the mythical version of Dark Ages Britain. Dark Ages. It is Greg Stafford's unique synthesis of centuries of Arthurian tales, a vision of history informed by medieval scholars and troubadours. Troubadours, by Sir Thomas Malory and Edward Spencer, by romantic novelists like Tennyson, and by more contemporary visions from popular literature and cinema. All these stories have contributed to this legendary game setting. Now imagine this is a year of our Lord 509. Britain is a large verdant island surrounded by turbulent seas consisting of 5 geographic regions: the north beyond Hadrian's Wall, Cambria and Cornwall to the west and south, respectively Cumbria in the middle and Logres to the southeast. Some smaller island sits off its coast, and the big island of Ireland just lies to the west. Britain is riddled with many navigable streams and rivers, and its coasts boast many fine natural harbours. Much of the land is hilly and covered in dense ancient forests, some rumoured to be haunted. Deadly beasts like the fierce British lions and panthers have kept the woods dangerous, even where crumbling old Roman roads cross them. Deeper into the heartwoods and marches live dragons, whose occasional sallies wreak terrible havoc upon nearby settlements. Other portions of the forest are set aside as hunting grounds for kings and their followers, who fight monsters more than they fear them. The people of Britain self-define themselves as one of 5 distinct cultures. I think that's Cymric or Cymric, Irish, Pict, Roman or Saxon, and have divided themselves into scores of tiny warring kingdoms, some like Penlyn of no greater size than a valley. The most powerful of them all is in Britain of Logres. It occupies the southeastern Britain and holds the 3 largest remaining Roman cities. Now in these dark times, enemies converge on Logres from all sides. Her warlords vie for supremacy, and her few allies fear an imminent collapse. Pendragon Britain is a land of adventure and danger, of scheming lords and ambitious ladies of great passions, and glorious deeds of mysterious castles and strange hidden kingdoms, and of savage beasts lurking in shadowy green woods, is a fabled realm waiting for you to explore. Playing Pendragon. There are only 2 types of dice used in Pendragon, the 20-sided D20 and a 6-sided D6. You use the D20 to resolve actions as well as test your character's morals and beliefs in times of crisis. The D6 is most often used to determine damage dealt in combat. The stories of King Arthur and his knights and ladies are filled with characters consumed by their passions and driven by their emotions, for good and ill. Throughout the course of this adventure and later when you play Pendragon with your friends, you will find your character's personality at times driving the narrative in surprising directions. We like that. Much enjoyment is thus derived from trying to get yourself out of trouble by your own devising. This touches on a central question underlying all gameplay in Pendragon: finding out what kind of knight you really are. Okay, that sounds all very good to me, very narrative, we like that. Glory and honour. The measure of knights is taken by their glory and honour values. Glory is the measure of a knight's notoriety and fame. It only increases with time and is not tied to the knight's inherent moral character. Knights look like Sir Agravain or Sir Bruce Sans Piety, are infamous for their rotten personalities and questionable behaviour, but both achieve high glory values. Honour, on the other hand, may fluctuate quite a bit over the course of a knight's lifetime and is dependent on their behaviour. Some actions increase honour and many others decrease it. Honour is a precious commodity and must be closely guarded, for if a knight's honour ever falls too low, they lose their status and place in society. During this adventure, you will keep track of the actions that would normally earn you glory, if you were a knight, as well as your honour value. Okay, so key things to look out for: glory and honour. You do this by placing checks in the boxes next to the indicated skills, personality traits and passions. Each box may only be checked once. If you earned a check early in the adventure, any further instructions to check the box are ignored. Interesting. Okay, because I've seen these check boxes. I wasn't sure if I was to write my scores in them, because there was like 2, but I understand what they are now. If you earned a check early in the adventure, any further instructions to check the box are ignored. After completing the adventure, you will find instructions on how to tally everything up based on your checks and find out what kind of knight your character will eventually grow up to become. Dealing and taking damage. As noted earlier, you roll multiple 6-sided dice to determine how much damage is done in combat. Sometimes you add a set number to the total, such as 2d6 plus 4, when brawling with a quarterstaff. Other times, like when you throw a punch, you simply apply a set of points of damage, usually between 4 and 5, depending on your size and strength. Armour protects against damage, but whatever gets through is deducted from your character's hit points. Once hit points fall below the character's unconscious threshold, the character is incapacitated. If hit points ever fall to 0 or less, the character is dying. Although combat is not the focus of the scenario, there are certain parts you may take that lead to combat. In such circumstances, you must keep track of both your own hit points and those of your opponent, as well as make all dice rolls on your opponent's behalf. Your character. A character sheet is provided with this scenario. This is a simplified version of the standard Pendragon character sheet, representing your character as a 14-year-old page about to become a squire. You have benefited from a lifetime of active and passive instruction in the traditions of your Cymric culture, Christian religion, and the duties of knights and nobles. Give your character a name. They may be any gender. All children of nobility serve as pages, and some girls choose to then go on to careers as squires and eventually knights. If you're having trouble coming up with a name, think of examples from literature or history. Some suggestions are, and it gives a bunch of suggestions. I have chosen mine. I'm going to be called Gwendolyn, Gwen for short. So now we're getting onto the character builds. So I've already done some of this in advance just to kind of stop me going back and forth and checking things in the video. So we're going to start with the characteristics section. So characteristics are your physical attributes. You have no notable strengths or weaknesses. How these function in play will be covered through events in a scenario, but note that they also determine your derived characteristics, such as hit points, movement rate, and so forth. Okay, so here we have base damage, which is 4d6, brawling damage 5, healing rate 3, unconscious 7, movement 17, and yeah, we've got our checks here, like dexterity checks, I imagine, strength checks. Personality traits. Next, look at personality traits, often written simply as traits. These quantify and guide your character's actions. All traits come in pairs with 2 values with a sum of 20. The values of each are written on opposite sides of a slash. For instance, like 1327. As one trait rises, the other falls by an equal amount. For example, 14 to 6, 15 to 5, and so on. A character tends to act according to the traits with the greater value. The bold personality traits are called your religious traits and represent the values most important to your religion. Other traits, those marked with a star, are particularly important for knights. You may now customise your trait values. All traits start at a base value of 10. Okay, so before any modifications or additions or whatever, all these are 10, so 5 on each side. No, sorry, 10 on each side, because it's always a sum of 20. So if we're looking at chaste and lustful, that would be 10, and that would be 10. Obviously, I've changed mine a little bit, so kind of disregard the pencils in there now. The bold personality traits are called your religious traits. So chaste, forgiving, merciful, modest, spiritual, temperate. Religious traits and represent the values most important to your religion. Other traits, such as those marked with a star, are particularly important for lights. Energetic makes sense, generous, just, and valorous. Of course, valorous. You may now customize your trait values. All traits start at base value of 10. Your religious traits each gain a bonus of 3 points. Remember, this reduces the opposite trait by 3 points as well. The valorous trait begins at 15. Okay, so if we see this in action, so valorous is 15, that means cowardly has to be 5, because it always has to equal 20. Now choose a trait and make it, now choose one trait and make it 16. This is your famous trait, what you're known for among your peers. So I did write these out in neat in my book. So my famous trait I chose was merciful. Now that started at 16, but because it's a religious trait, because it's bolded, I get another +3 to that. So in my mind, I hope I got this right, it is 19, while cruel would be 1, because 19 plus 1 is 20. Finally, distribute 6 points among any of the other traits. No other trait may be raised above 15. But you are free to put all your points into a trait if you wish, as long as it remains under 16. Okay, so what I did here, because chaste is a religious trait, added 3 to it, which took the 10 to a 13, and made lustful 7. Energetic, I added some of my 6 points into. So I added, I think, 4 onto that. Yeah, so I took it from 10 to 14, which meant lazy is a 6, because 14 plus 6 is 20. Hopefully you're getting that. Forgiving, that is a religious trait, so that had a +3 automatically added to it, so that took it to 13, with vengeful being 7. Generous I kept as 10, and that's a knight's trait, but it doesn't get any bonuses. It's just maybe suggestion. If you want to add your 6 points or proportional 6 points to it, that could be a good one to add it to. So selfish also remains at 10. Honest is 10, deceitful 10. Just I added 1 trait to, which meant just is 11, arbitrary is 9. Now, merciful is a very big one. So merciful is my famous trait, which means it's a 16, but it gets a bonus of 3, which takes it to 19 and cruel 1, like I mentioned before. Modest, again, religious trait, gets an automatic +3, takes it to 13. Proud is 7. Prudent stays at 10, so reckless stays at 10. Spiritual, I think I added 1 to that, but because, again, religious trait, it has a +3, which takes it to 14. Worldly 6. Temperate is 13 because it's religious. Indulgent is 7. Trusting remains at 10, so does suspicious. And valorous, if you remember in the paragraph, valorous gets automatically boosted to 15, which means cowardly is 5. Once you've allocated your points, fill in your final trait values. Remember that each trait pair must sum to 20. Passions. After finishing with your traits, move on to passions. Passions are intense beliefs that may provide inspiration, boosting a single skill or trait for a short time. Passions are especially useful in combat or when attempting a difficult task. If traits represent your personality, passions represent the values your character holds most dear. The most important passion is honour, and this begins at a value of 15, which I believe we have. Yep, this is pre-filled for us. There are many other passions, including adoration, devotion, hate, station, and chivalry. For the purposes of your character, we focus on 3 others. Aside from honour, homage, lord, love, family, and hospitality, these each start with value 15 as well. For definitions of each personality, trait, and passion, see Chapter 3, Traits and Passions in Book 2. Have I printed this out? I think I printed something else, actually. I don't think it's Chapter 3. No, it's something else. So I did actually look at this, and there are some really nice definitions and explanations of what these passions are. And that will come up again, I think, as I'm playing and as these passions become relevant to what I'm trying to achieve. Skills. The final step for customising your character is assigning points to your skills. As the name implies, skills are what allow characters to accomplish great deeds in the game. Each skill has a default value listed on the character sheet in parentheses. These values are increased in a variety of ways, as outlined below. Because you're a Cymric knight in training, you add 3 to your charge, horsemanship and courtesy skills. Every family has a certain inborn talent for a particular skill. Roll 1d6 and consult table 1. Selected family characteristics to find out what your natural talent lies. Where your natural talent lies, and then increase the indicated skill by 3. So when I rolled this, I did this off camera, I got a 6, which meant player's choice. So I was thinking, okay, if I look at my character sheet, what sort of vibe am I getting from Gwendolyn? So I noticed her spirituality was quite high. She's quite merciful. And after that, she's quite obviously valorous, but I won't include that because that's just a normal knight trait, I suppose. So yes, she's spiritual, she's merciful, and energetic, typical knight thing. Yeah, and just, I suppose. So I was thinking, okay, what sort of qualities would go well with this? So I chose characteristic silver tongue as orate, so speaking, orator, let's say. So yeah, because I felt that would go well with, just all the other skills she had. So that's the one I went with, which meant I have +3 in, orate, which is cool. So now distribute 10 points amongst your skills with the limitations outlined below. These personal skill additions represent where you put your time and attention as you've grown up in court. As with passions, not all skills are useful in every scenario. However, some skills of use only tonight, such as stewardship, are not included on this character sheet. So I looked up stewardship, and that is a skill that's for a knight that owns a lot of land. Now, as this is like a 14-year-old squire, they're not going to own a lot of land. So, yes, where stewardship, I imagine, is not included. For definitions of each skill, see Chapter 4 skills in Book 2. So, yeah, I looked at this, and that's probably how I found that out. Skill limitations. When distributing the points listed below, you must follow these rules. No skill may be raised above 15. No skill with a starting value of 0 may be increased. The following skills may not be raised above the value of the appeal characteristic at the time of character creation: courtesy, flirting, folklore, intrigue, and orate. Bonuses from your Cymric skill modifiers and family characteristics may raise skill values above the limitations set above. Yes, because I saw that with orate, and I was like, oh, is that getting quite high? But because it was a family talent, which is silver-tongued, I don't think it mattered. But yeah, I was looking at all of these, and none of them go above 15. Yeah, because 6 plus 3 is 9. It's... The biggest one I've got is like 5 plus 4, which is 9. No, yeah, nothing goes above that. So yeah, and when I distributed my 10 points to the skills, I added 1 to awareness, 1 to first aid, 2 to folklore, 2 to hunting, and 4 to religion, because again, very spiritual person, very good at speaking. So yeah, I thought folklore and religion kind of went well with that. And I suppose because they're a knight, I thought hunting would be good in terms of a mechanical gameplay thing. And first aid, of course, and awareness. So we have, I believe, our character, and yeah, I haven't gone into too much detail here. I've just followed what is said in the basic sheet, because again, I'm testing this booklet to see how clear it is and how it's getting you to follow the rules. So far, so good. So let's begin. Number 1. Sir Ector's manor is built upon the ruins of an ancient hill fort in the country of Penlyn. The hall. Sir Ector's place of residence is a grand 2-storey stone building with an entrance on the 2nd floor. On this fine autumnal day, with the harvest done and the air getting chillier, you're enjoying a brief respite from your duties with your friend and fellow page Alice. The two of you are sitting in the warmth of the central hearth, playing a game of improvised draughts using river pebbles, when the main door to the hall flies open. It is your friend Arthur, Kay's younger brother, and his fine features are lit up with excitement. He beams at you. Kay wants to do quintain practice, and I asked if you could join, and he said yes. You leap to your feet. As a page, you are not allowed to practice martial skills with the squires. Kay, the senior squire of the household, must be feeling magnanimous. The game of drafts forgotten, you and Alice run outside with Arthur. Go to 2. Hello everyone, so it's the next day, different camera position. So I'll pick up where I left off, which is going to point 2. The knight is, if nothing else, a mounted warrior, and the knight is the most fearsome on the battlefield as a part of the massed mounted lance charge. Against this unstoppable force, few enemies may stand. Learn how to ride your horse into battle takes years of practice. It requires riding at full gallop, holding a very heavy shield in one hand and a long wobbly stick in the other, all the while maintaining balance and control of the mount, long enough to score a meaningful hit against a target, without falling off afterward. Squires practice their aim with a lance using a device called I think this is quintin, it's pronounced not quintain, called a quintin. These vary in construction from simple to elaborate. Sir Ector's quintin is decidedly the former, but it serves its purpose well enough. A crossbeam atop a post is used to hang an iron disc about the size of a man's face. The distance from the ground may be adjusted, but usually, like today, it is hung in the approximate point where a precise hit is likely to unhorse a knight. The idea is to execute a charge with a lance and try to score a direct hit on the disc, which is moulded in such a way that only by striking the very centre will a sonorous gong sound out. Ooh. As you run out onto the top of the stairs, landing outside the hall, you see that Kay has set up the quintin and brought a small stack of rebated lances. They're normally lethal points doled with a cloth bundle. Your excitement dims when you see that he's also brought out a mechanical hobby horse, a four-wheeled contraption with a saddle on top, which must be pulled by two others in order to achieve momentum and speed. Kay seems to register your disappointment as you descend the stairs. What? Did you think I was going to get Bishop out for this? Bishop is the name of Sir Ector's charger, a fine war horse who has seen enough battle and bears the scars to prove it. It is enough that the whelp promised to do my chores for a fortnight in exchange for this favour. Arthur looks abashed. Clearly he did not want Kay to mention this part of the deal. Being an older squire of 17 winters, Arthur has many responsibilities already. Taking on Kay's task will mean long hours and sore limbs. In a situation like this, where it may not be clear how to best respond, you may turn to your traits for guidance. As long as the traits is less than 16, you're always free to choose how to act. However, let us see what the dice have to say this time. Interesting. So we're getting prompted to do a roll. This is called a decision roll and has you rolling against two, usually opposing traits. It's usually obvious which traits to roll against once you become familiar with their definitions. In this case, look to your just and arbitrary traits. Someone with a high value in just has developed an objective sense of right and wrong, while an arbitrary person allows their own biases or self-interest to influence their feelings. Take 1d20 and roll against the value of your just trait first. If you roll equal to or less than the value, you are said to have succeeded in that trait. Rolling the value of the trait exactly is called a critical success, while rolling a 20 is called a fumble. If you rolled a critical success, put a check next to just on your character sheet. If you fumbled the roll, put a check next to arbitrary instead, as a fumble in one trait is considered an automatic success in the other. Interesting. If you failed your roll against just, make a second roll against arbitrary. As with just, a critical success here grants a check to arbitrary, and a fumble grants a check to opposite trait and is considered a successful just roll. If you fail both rolls, you must make your own choice between the two. Interesting. So it's kind of like, I suppose you get the opportunity to cancel it out, if I've interpreted that right. I think so. Yeah, no, because then you roll against arbitrary. Cool. If you fail both rolls, you must make your own choice between the two. If you choose to succeed, go to 3. If you choose or succeeded at arbitrary, go to 4. Okay, so just is 3, arbitrary is 4. Let's roll. It's got my special, I think I got this at Gen Con 2023. It's like a nautical themed die. Yeah, die. I think a D20 is crab. 19. That was close. That nearly was a critical failure. Now, I know my just is quite high, but it's not that high. Actually, I'll look up here. So just is 11. So yeah, we unfortunately failed that, I believe. So yeah. Okay. So now I need to roll against arbitrary. So am I really going to be... natural 20. Ooh, so that's a critical foul against arbitrary. That's actually kind of weird and kind of cool that I wrote a 19 and a 20 in 2 goes. So I fumbled arbitrary. So I would take that as succeeding at just. Yeah, because that was a critical a critical fumble with arbitrary. So yeah, do I get to tick just off? I think we do. Where's the checkbox? Just is here. So yeah, if we go to this little section here, doing the right thing, because I feel this relates to what we've just rolled. Pendragon often confronts players with dilemmas that are played out using personality traits. The traits on the left-hand side of the column on your character sheet are considered the more positive ones for knights from Britain's mainstream culture and religion. Acting in accordance with these traits is considered benefiting a good Cymric Christian knight, but it's not always the right thing to do. Behaviour that seems advantageous in the moment may come with hidden costs later on. Conversely, some sacrifices may be made entirely in vain. Traits of 16 or higher, called famous traits, I believe mine is, I think it's merciful, yeah. Often compel behaviour in accordance with that trait unless you roll under the opposing trait. Other times you may wish to be asked to roll against one or two traits to determine the course of action, such as making a valorous roll to confront a terrifying monster, or rolling against temperance and indulgence to see if you overeat at a feast. Over time, acting in accordance with a particular trait raises its value, causing you to act even more so in future. Now, this is what I really like about this game, because I think sometimes what lacks in D&D is like the sort of social mechanics, kind of your character's personality. To me, sometimes it seems a little bit of an afterthought, and that might relate to its roots in like wargaming. It's, it started off, I suppose, more sort of combat heavy. It's about, finding loot, achieving something rather than focus on, say, character development, what the characters do. I know that is more of the thing now, and, we should aim to maybe include a little bit of that in there, even if it's not our interest to do so, as it enriches, the actual campaign and story. But yeah, what I really like about Pendragon up front is like, okay, what are your personality traits? This is what guides your behaviour. Where I think, in Dungeons & Dragons, it's kind of like you have your sort of chaotic evil and that sort of thing. It's all very high level and a bit vague, where this is very specific. It's like, this has a definition, this is the opposite, let's roll against that, and that sort of influences, what you become. Okay, cool. So, we're at 3. Kay is 7 years your senior and has at least 2 stone of weight on you, but you feel you must say something. If it comes to the expense of Arthur having to do all the work for you, Kay, then I don't want it. You feel your eyes flash as your heart pounds inside your chest. You would love nothing more than to take a shot at the Quinton, but not at the expense of your friend. Everything is quiet for a moment. You see that Alice has come out of the landing and is watching the whole scene, which makes your cheeks flush bright red. Kay's expression is one of utter bemusement. Fine, he says, at last with a shrug. For one fleeting moment you think you might have won this standoff. I guess this doesn't matter to you as much as a whelp said it did. Still, it'd be a shame to waste my setting up in Quinton. I'll take a few passes with the lance, and you and the whelp can pull me. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so I might journal that out. So I know it says like go to 6, but I want to have a bit of a record of what my character did. So Gwen asked Kay to set up some Quinton practice, but this came at a cost to Arthur's, say, leisure time. In brackets, rolled high for just or a critical. Oh no, not critical foul. It's a fumble. Fumble for arbitrary. So Gwen decided not to partake in Quinton. Kay decided to engage anyway. Go to 6. Yeah, it's a good choice for Gwen. I'm glad that happened. Because, yeah, the way I've created my character, she is leaning towards, say, she's merciful. That's her main trait. So in a way, even though it's a bad role, it could have been out of character, but then you can roleplay that bit in storytelling. Okay, so why wasn't she acting just then and, potentially merciful? You cannot help but feel dejected. Arthur catches your eye as you both move to the front of the hobby horse and gives you an encouraging smile. You can see that he's grateful you spoke up, which helps lift your spirits. Don't worry, he says. Before you know it, you'll be doing this practice so much that you'll wish the Quintin had never been built. By making a just decision against your own best interest, you earn a check to honour. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, we've got an honour check. Kay hops onto the back of the hobby horse, causing its legs to bow alarmingly. He wields a lance 12 feet long and made from a single piece of ashwood, as if it were a stick. All right, horsey, let's go. He pretends to put a spur in the horse and Arthur laughs. From the landing, Alice shouts out words of encouragement. Your leather shoes dig into the uneven turf as you pull hard. Even with Arthur's help, this is going to be tough work. Make an opposed strength roll to see how you fare. To do this, roll 1d20 and compare the result to your strength characteristic. As you did with your trait roll, remember that rolling the exact value of your strength is a critical success, while rolling a 20 is a fumble. Okay. So let's go to my strength. So what do we need for the strength? So we need a 12 and under. If we get a 20, it's a critical fumble. Oh, what's that? 7. Yay, we pass. If you rolled a critical success, go to 13. If you succeed, go to 14. So I think if I hit a 12, that would have been a critical success. So it's just succeed. So I believe we go to 14. Oh, actually, what was I? I might journal that quickly. Okay, so I'm pulling the horse. I might just say rolled successful strength check. Arthur and I pull the horse along with Kay on it. It's tough work, but we appear to be managing it. I'm disappointed that Kay is holding Arthur to the agreement, but I suppose these things are sent to try us. So yeah, she's kind of relying a little bit on her faith there, being like, okay, I've got to pull this horse. It's not exactly ideal, but at least I tried, and and this is just a test of my character. You put everything you have into pulling the horse, and despite the bumpy turf underneath and Kay's bulk, you and Arthur managed to get it up at a decent speed. You can see the cloth-covered tip of the lance sticking out above your head, and entertain a ludicrous thought that this is what all horses must see in battle. The lance strikes home, and the metal disc ringing out to indicate a perfect strike. The horse slows to a stop, and Kay hops off. That's how it's done, children, he says, starting to walk off, leaving the tidying up to you and Arthur. Ah, lovely person. Go to 17. Without warning, the air is split and the blast of a horn. Your petty concerns and squabbles pop like a soap bubble as you all turn to see Lord of the Manor, Sir Ector, riding up from the village of Careguy. His household knight, Sir Jonas, riding behind him. Most knights in Britain serve in the household of a lord, thus their name. They're also called bachelor knights, from bas chevalier, low knight. They are nonetheless members of the nobility. and to reach even their rank puts one in an exclusive group of warriors, sworn to defend those who cannot defend themselves and pledge their sword to the service of a nobleman or lady. Sir Ector, an aged knight, looks to be in good humour. He reins in his horse-tall halt near where you were practising and hops down. I have word that our king, Mwan, and his court to pay us a visit in 2 days, to stay with us through the feast of St. Andrew. Tomorrow we go hunting for boar. The king must have a grand feast of welcome when he arrives. Quinton practice is over. A boar hunt is always an event that requires the support of the full household, and you, Alice, Kay and Arthur rush to follow Ector into the hall and find out what is expected of you. Okay, so I'm quickly journal this. Just put Arthur and I needn't worry too much about pulling Kay along in his horse. Is it Sir Ector has returned and wants us all to attend a hunt for the king's banquet. I wonder why. I wonder what the reason is for the king's visit. Maybe he just wants to spend time with us on, I'm going to go on a limb, St. Andrew's Day. Puts us in November or so. St. Andrew's Day. But I have a feeling something may be on the horizon. Ooh. Okay, so Gwen, she's relieved she gets to go on this hunt now, but she's a little bit like, why is this king visiting? Is it really just to have a St. Andrew's feast with us, or is there potentially, a war or something else on the go? Boar hunt, quest the household. Okay, so go to 18. Today marks a week before the feast of St. Andrew, and the morning dawns chill and grey. You rise from your customary bed, a soft pile of straw in the corner of the hall that you share with the other pages, and help the squires get the hearth fire stoked up, among other menial tasks. Sir Ector is also up and moving about, preparing for the hunt in consultation with Sir Jonas. Hunting is Ector's favourite sport, and he employs a huntsman, a gnarled specimen called Glyn, to help in his efforts. Glyn is up the hall at dawn, and with Di, the dog boy. That is correct, the dog boy, to discuss the day's prospects. Considering the season, all agree that the boar will be the most likely quarry, but they will not know for certain until they see the tokens. The hunt you have gathered has a lexicon all of its own, with words like unharbouring, fumes, obey, and so forth. Although you've seen many hunts set out from Ector's Hall, this has to be the first time you are invited along on one, and your stomach is far too unsettled to take the bread and small ale on offer for the morning's fast breaking. Arrangements are made and the hunting party assembles outside the hall. The knights and squires are dressed in their gambesons, thickly quilted cloth armour that provides some small protection against the beast of the wild. Each carries a special spear called a boar spear, which features a long sharp iron head and a sturdy metal crosspiece, positioned about 18 inches down from the shaft and intended to prevent the wild boar from running up the spear and going into the hunter. Sir Ector has spun fireside tales that companions lost to the savagery of the boar and its razor-sharp tusks, and your blood runs cold as you think about what it would take to bring down such a wild beast. You'll walk alongside Di, who has his hands full of managing the estate's pack of brain-running hounds. To your other side lopes Aran, the great shaggy coo, or wolfhound, I may be mispronouncing these, so I do apologise, who is a great favourite of everyone in Ector's household. He is as big as you, but as gentle as a lamb. His presence reassures you, for he is brave and true as any noble I are. The air is fresh from the rain overnight. As you walk across the vale, the clouds begin breaking up, allowing some golden sunlight through. To the east you see golden rays reflecting on the surface of Lynn Tegid, the mighty lake that forms the headwaters of the River Dee. It said that beneath its waves lies a sunken city, and some nights you see that lights the buildings down the depths. That's what Kay's always claimed, at least. You and Arthur have snuck out a few times, but haven't seen anything so far. Aside from the scattered towns and villages and their farm and pasture lands, on Ector's estate, most of the Vale is like woodland, and you are making for one such patch of forest now. Gwen and his assistants from Cairguy got a head start earlier, and you see them approach bearing the fumes, excrement of a boar inside the room of their hunting horns. Okay, so I imagine that's maybe, to bring the boar out so it smells like another boar. Cool. So I'm going to quickly journal that. I'll be like, today is the day of the feast. While I'm excited to join, I'm also slightly terrified. I've heard many a tale of upstanding knights coming undone or underestimating the power and danger of a wild boar that knows its life is at risk. Sounds a bit too clinical. Knows its life is at risk. It knows it's about to die. Any animal would lash out. The size and strength of a boar makes it a formidable hunt. Okay, I didn't mention the city there, actually. Okay, I can mention it here. I wonder if I will see the lights of the sunken city beneath the River Dee. Some say I want to get to the point that that Gwen is challenging it. She goes up. I don't know if it's real or not. Kind of like, it would be cool to see, but is it just? Oh, some say it's just a legend. Others swear it exists. There we go. So go to 19. So Ector dismounts and confers with Glyn, the hunter, about the best approaches, the location of the boar's lair, and so forth. The air is electric with anticipation. Kay approaches you. You see he's holding a sausage link. He tears it apart with his teeth and offers you half. You should eat something. Hunts can last all day. Kay does have his moments of compassion. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's done that. I was starting to dislike Kay a bit. I mean, I know he's still quite young and there's asserting his dominance, but yeah, he was quite mean to littlands, let's say. As you eat, he explains the different calls to the huntsman's horn, how it is used to gather the hounds, to signal the other hunters, and to announce the death of the quarry. In addition to sundry and other uses, every knight and squire carries a horn. The hunts often range over vast distances, and it's easy to get separated. Arthur has drifted over during the conversation as well, listening to Kay while leaning against a spear. Oh, is there a bit of foreshadowing there? Easy to get separated in this sunken city. You should stick nearby to me, as the Ector, says Kay. If you get separated, just listen for our call. Once we've taken the boar, you will help bring it back to the hall. Just saying, Glen signals the finding, the opening stage of the hunt where the beast is unharboured, and the chase begins. The hounds set up a tremendous racket and nearly pull Ty off his feet as they begin moving towards the doors. The knights mount up, and Kay and Arthur rush towards their horses as well, before Arthur stops, turns, and hands his spear to you. In case you run into trouble, he says, his face grim, you feel a wave of gratitude wash over you. It's not sophisticated as the knight's boar spears, but it's better than nothing. Gripping the spear, you break into a trot, keeping up as the knights canter towards the woods. Soon you are among the trees, the dead leaves of autumn crunching softly beneath your shoes. The bracken and branches are not so bad here, and you keep an eye on the knights as they press ahead, dogs and huntsmen in the lead. It's not long before you hear a blast from Glyn's horn. The quarry is found and the chase is on. You see signs of movement deeper in the woods, and go that way, your breath raised in your throat and coming out in white puffs. More horn blasts now from multiple hunters, dogs barking and howling, echoing among the trees, shouts fading into the distance. You look around. You are all alone. Ooh. Make an opposed roll of your hunting skill. Ooh, I'm glad I added a 1 to this, or 2. Versus the boar's avoidance skill of 10. Oh, interesting. You are trying to both succeed at your own roll, hunting, and roll better than the boar's outcome if he succeeds at his avoidance. This is called winning the roll. If you and the boar both succeed but he rolls better than you, then this is a partial success. If you fail your roll and the boar succeeds, this is a loss. If you both fail your rolls, this is a mutual failure, and rolling a 20 means you have fumbled your roll. For this opposed roll, there is no penalty if you fail or lose your skill roll, apart from the simple consequence of failing. But this is not always the case. I imagine then maybe, because I think this happened in Shadow Dark, could be wrong here, but yeah, if you do, I think, a critical failure on a spell cast or something, you can lose that spell. So I think for this, maybe if the failure is so big, it may knock some points off your skill, perhaps. I'm not sure. Speculating. So the boar is 10, so we need 10 or below. And my hunting skill, if I go back, my hunting skill is, where's hunting? It's up here somewhere. It's a knight trait, I think. Oh no, these skills are over here. So hunting is 7. Okay, that's quite low. I thought it was a bit higher, but never mind. So hunting is 7. So the boar has a bit more of a advantage than me. Okay, well, I am a young squire. It makes sense. The boar will be higher. Okay, so let's roll the boar first. So we need 10 or below for the boar to succeed. Wait here, actually. Oh, that's a nat 1. So the boar succeeds avoidance. So yeah, nat 1 doesn't matter. For me to get a critical success, I have to roll a 10. It's not like I want to get as low as possible. It's I either want to get the score or beneath, and a fumble would be a natural 20, I think. Hunting, I need to get 7 or below, so we'll see. Oh, 17, so I fail. That's quite good. I think they both look match up. So let's have a look. So what did I get here? So make an opposed roll of your hunting skill versus the boar's avoidance skill 10. You are trying to both succeed at your own roll, hunting, and roll better than the boar's outcome. If he succeeds at his avoidance roll, this is called winning the roll. Oh, hang on, I think I did that wrong. So let's just say I got 17, wasn't it? Yes, so... Oh no, I was right, 17's a hunting, yep. So I thought I was both rolling for like avoidance or something. So yeah, if you fail your roll, which I have, and the boar succeeds, this is a loss. If you both fail your rolls, it's a mutual failure. Okay, so it's a loss. So we didn't fumble. So here's I'll just read them out. So if you roll critical success, check hunting and go to 20. If you win the roll, check hunting as you stumble into a clearing and come face to face with an angry boar, go to 35. If you manage a partial success, go to 37. If you fail or lose the roll, go to 39. If you fumble, go to 46. Excuse me. So I believe I'm going to 39 because I lost. Oh, I'm kind of glad actually. I kind of wanted the boar to win. So, yep, so the boar succeeded avoidance because they rolled lower than a 10, and I rolled quite a bit higher than hunting. So luckily it wasn't a fumble, but yeah, 17 was way higher. So yeah. So off to 39. You wander into the woods for what feels like hours. The day is growing long. From time to time you hear the distant call of a hunting horn and turn in what you think is the right direction. But then another call comes from a completely different direction. You are beginning to despair of ever finding your way out of the woods when suddenly you spot a remarkable scene up ahead. A great mossy rock juts out from a cliffside. Under the overhang there is a lean-to-hut. There is a lean-to-hut. Okay. There is a lean-to-hut. Its boards green with moss. A ragged hemp cloth curtain hangs in the door frame. There is no sign of anyone about. Ooh. Do you wish to investigate the hut? If so, go to 40. If you go back the way you come, rolling. Oh, if you come back the way you come, roll hunting. If you succeed, you hear the sound of hunting horns and follow them into clearing where Sir Ector and Kay have downed the boar. Go to 53. If you fail, go to 46 and wander deep into the woods. Do you know what? I want to investigate the hut. When I initially read that, I thought, oh, no, I'm just going to roll. I was like, no, I want to know what's in this hut. You push aside the ragged curtain and enter the hut. There is a pile of straw in the corner that seems to serve as a bed, and the only other pieces of furniture are a three-legged stool and a small cabinet, both roughly carved. The rock of the cliff overhang forms a ceiling and 3 walls. You see a cave mouth in the far wall, and you can just make out the flickering, a feeble flame somewhere within its darkened depths. The sound of chanting is also discernible. Okay, so this actually kind of works well because as Gwen, I've kind of, for her traits and, what was it? I think it's just traits. Yeah, and some of her skills, I'd say, I've got her leaning into a more religious kind of like spreading the message of God type of thing. And yes, if let's just say she was around that hut, and I might just fudge it and be like, maybe she heard some chants that she thought, were hymns or something, then that could have enticed her to the hut. And also because she's very religious, she may see it as a sign of God to go in there. Okay, so you see them came off the far wall. You can just make out the flickering, feeble flame, some of it's done with it. Okay, cool. Roll religion, and if you succeed, go to 41. If you fail the religion roll, you may decide whether to press on. If you do, go to 42. Otherwise, you may leave the hut and go back the way you came, or hunting again. If you succeed, you hear the sound of hunting hordes and follow them into the clearing, where Sir Ector and Kay have downed the boar. Go to 53. If you fail, go to 46 and wander deeper into the woods. Ooh. So let's roll religion. So if I go back to religion, which is, oh, that's a 9. So I remember I did add quite a hefty amount to that. So we need to roll a 9 for a critical success, or for a normal success get below a 9. Oh, I want to go in the hearts. Come on, let's roll good religion. 14. Damn it. She failed. Okay, roll religion. If you succeed, go to 41. I didn't. If you fail the religion roll, you weigh whether to decide to press on. If you do, oh, I like that. I do want to press on. Go to 42. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to 42. Otherwise, you may leave the hut and go back the way you came. Okay, no, we're going to press on. Because, it's part of her, again, what I like about this, I'm thinking of her traits, and I'm like, looking at these traits, it would seem logical that she would press on. Likewise, you could flip it. Maybe she heard chants that maybe sounded a bit off, and it kind of scared her and she wanted to leave. But no, I'm going with like the more positive, that she kind of feels these are hymns rather than something more sinister. Okay, so we're going to go to 42. Oh, I like it slightly different actually. It's not just said like go to 41. It's it's a different outcome. 42. Oh, I need to journal this. Blimey, what am I doing? Okay, so where were we last? Okay, so I'm separated from the hunt. I had a sinking feeling I'd get separated from the group. As much as I was excited for the hunt, I felt, as much as I felt I didn't have the hours of experience under my belt yet. I'm a poor navigator. I'm still a poor navigator. And this is something I need to work on. Fortunately, I've stumbled across a hut. I swear I can hear hymns being sung. I want to go in. Okay, the boar got away from me, though the hunting horns in the distance may suggest Sir Ector has downed it. I don't know why, but part of me wanted it to get away, even though it would be disastrous, and I'm sure Arthur and I would have bore the brunt of the consequences. Cool. Okay, so I believe we're at 42. The cave passage is narrow and twisted and nearly pitch dark. Only the light of the hermit's candles in the chamber ahead provides any sort of illumination. You emerge into a makeshift chapel. The chamber is shaped like a beehive and water drips from cracks in the ceiling, soaking into pebbly ground. Across from you is a crude altar festooned with images of Christ on the cross. Okay, this is cool. The apostles and the Virgin Mary. Many small beeswax candles burn on the nooks and railings of the altar. In front, kneeling, is a raggedy man, his head bowed. He is whispering and rocking back and forth as he does so, lost in holy ecstasy. Despite the simple surroundings, the room seems to be filled with an otherworldly sensation. The air seems thicker here, almost sweet. Either choose between or roll against your spiritual and worldly traits. If we roll, you may choose which to roll first. Do not roll against the second trait if you succeed at the first. A critical success means you place a check next to the trait. If you succeed, a spiritual check, go to the trait. Oh, it should be good because I think I've maxed out my spiritual. Let's see. Spiritual and worldly. Yeah, spiritual is 14, worldly is 6. Okay, so it's not a massive one. So I know I've got merciful as 19. Valorous is 15. So I think, yeah, this is my joint third one with, I think, energetic by the looks of it. So yeah, let's go. So we want to roll a 14 or below. I'm hoping she does it. Come on, come on. But then we can always roll against if she does well. 5, we pass. Yes, okay. So yeah, and I don't need to roll against the second trait because I've succeeded. You only do that when you lose, I think. Okay, if you succeed, go to 43. Oh, this would be quite a nice one to journal about. As I delve deeper into the cave, I'm greeted by a gorgeous smell. I feel like I'm at mass. Across from me, I can see the Virgin Mary, and any fear or anxiety I felt entering vanishes. This is a house of God, so it seems. There is an old man lost in a trance. I don't want to wake him. No, I don't want to disturb him. Okay, 43. You kneel and clasp your hands in prayer, listening as the hermit finishes the liturgy. You possess only the most basic knowledge of faith. Like most members of the gentry, you only attend church on the major holy days and are untutored in your lessons. Okay, maybe might have boosted up how religious she is, but let's just say she aspires to be quite religious, but you feel swept up in the moment and meditate on the effigy of Christ looking down at you from the altar until the hermit concludes with the final amen. Amen, rather. Sorry, it's very American. Amen. With a final amen, he stands and turns to face you, smiling. Okay. Instead of disturbing the man, I join him in prayer. I can't wait to continue my religious education further as I aspire to be a holy knight, following God's will. You kneel and clasp your hands in prayer, listen as the hermit finishes. Oh no, I've already read that. Go to 45. What brings you to my humble chapel, my child, he asks. He is an older man, rugged looking, with a shaggy mop of hair and a bushy beard. Something about his bearing, however, reminds you of Sir Ector. You tell him of your misadventure in the woods and of your separation from your party. The hermit listens with sympathy, then, taking up a large candle and blowing out the rest, he leads you back to his cell. I can set you on the right path, he says with a twinkle in his eye, but not before I've fed you and seen to your care. He bids you sit on a solitary stool and departs and is gone for a quarter hour, returning with a small basket overflowing with freshly picked greens. I have a small garden patch near the stream, he explains. The bounty includes parsley, lettuce and watercress, all of which he tosses together in a wooden bowl. He also has a gourd filled with fresh stream water, all of which he offers you. You should have some bread as well, he says, and he opens up his cabinet door to fetch a half-eaten loaf from within. Your eyes light up. Something else, however, inside the cabinet, a slightly rusted hauberk and sword in its scabbard. The hermit notices your gaze. Indeed, I was once a knight much like you, lord. Much like your lord, Sir Ector. I held many estates and had a fine wife who blessed me with 12 sons. Interesting. He pauses. You think he may be on the verge of tears, but he composes himself and continues. I lost all of my sons in just a few short years. The 4 horsemen visited my hearth again and again. When my youngest, my last, when I lost him, I lost myself. I took leave of my senses and lived as a wild man in the woods for months, years. At last I found my wits again, thanks to the grace of the Lord. I saw a vision deep in the forest, a silver stag between its great antlers, a glowing apparition, a grail covered in shimmering samite. I knew myself once again, and knew my life's remaining years would be devoted to holy contemplation out here in the wilds. The hermit takes a deep breath, then smiles at you again. All done? Good. Let me show you the way back. Thanks to the hermit's directions, you head off in the right direction, and soon hear the sound of the mort being blown on the horn. The boar is dead. Oh, no. Okay, go to 53. The boar lies dead, its blood soaking from the leaf-strewn ground. The bark and whimpering of the hounds forms a chorus in the background, but they know to hold back. Their reward is to come soon. Sir Ector takes a short, sharp blade and begins the unlacing the beast, first disemboweling before cutting it into quarters, plus the head. Some of the boar's insides are now thrown to dogs, while others are set aside for use in the forthcoming feast. Kay blows a complex pattern on his horn to signal the conclusion of the hunt. Spirits are high and there is much laughter and singing as the parts are gathered for transport back to the hall. You and Arthur hoist a pole between you from which hang the boar's hindquarters. You arrive back at Sir Ector's hall as the sun begins its descent to the horizon and a chilly westerly wind picks up, blowing great grey clouds across the sky. Within the half-fire blazes, and you, Kay and Arthur, warm your hands, beaming up at each other. Wash up, barks Sir Ector. No time for dilly-dallying. The king arrives tomorrow and there is much to be done. Go to 54. Okay, so let's journal this a bit. I leave the hermit's house enlightened, a fellow Christian doing God's work. The directions he gave me, to my relief, take me back to the others. The ball was downed. Though I'm relieved, I feel a twinge of sadness for the poor creature. Sir Ector hurries us to get back. 54. The morning dawns under patchy rain clouds, and all you want to do is stay snuggled under your bearskin blanket and rest your aching muscles. Roll energetic versus lazy. If you succeed at energetic, check the trait and get up in spite of your weariness. If you succeed at lazy, check that instead. It takes Kay's admonitions loudly accuse you of being a layabout to rouse you out of bed. Regardless of the outcome, you are soon hard at work attending your morning chores. Return to the hall around noontime. You find the household hard at work, laying out the trestle tables and setting out the hall for grand feast. There is a high table where the king and Sir Ector will sit with their favoured guests, and 2 other tables set perpendicular that form in a rough U shape. Ooh. Okay, so are we going to be low energy or higher energy? Okay, so check my little things again. Energetic 14, lazy is 6. So we want a 14 or below, and a 14 is a critical success. That's a 6, that's a success. I feel as I interfered with that, my finger being there, but that's fine. 6, so we pass. So pass, energetic. So when I wanted to do that because I know it by sounds of it the person or Gwen gets up anyway, but it's kind of like the flavour you put on it. So if she gets up by herself, that could affect the story rather than Kay having a go. So despite my tiredness, I force myself out of bed before Kay has a chance to reprimand me. I get to the hall for lunch and see preparations are being made. I'm excited, yet anxious. So yeah, she's excited, it's a big banquet, it's a big feast, the king is coming to keep, as it were. And yeah, but she's also kind of still a bit apprehensive of the reasons. Why is the king, choosing to come here? So, 55. As the boar meat roasts over a spit, filling the hall with a mouth-watering aroma, you help Kay and Arthur in setting up the trestles and benches and in laying out fresh hay on the floor. Then Kay, entrusted with his father's keys, retrieves a silver and fine linen from the lockbox in Ector's solar, and the 3 of you set out the service. Sir Jonas, meanwhile, is busy setting up the dresser's side table, where the food is prepared for presentation at table. With ritualistic care, he sets out the pewter goblets, ewers, and hanaps. He also sets up the ombre, a special cupboard where Sir Ector's finest platters are displayed for all to admire. These gold plates, craftily inlaid with pearls and stones, are far too valuable to be used for mere dining. As you watch as Ector's tapestry is taken outside for freshen up one final time before the onset of winter, are hung up again, they depict scenes of hunting, a battle, of courtship, and the finer things in life. You have studied these tapestries many times over the years, for they hold the promise of the life ahead of you, a life of honour, glory, and valour. The revelry is broken up by Arthur, who runs into the hall. The king approaches. It's getting good, the king's here. Go to 56. King Marwan of Pendragon is a young man, dark of hair with steely blue eyes. Interesting, I thought he was going to be an older king, but no, it's a young one. And a scruffy beard just thick enough to cover his chin. He's typical of the kings of these parts, more a tribal chieftain and warlord than anything. He has come with a small train of knights, warriors, ladies, maids, attendants, grooms, all of whom quickly filled the hall. As Sir Ector bows to the king into his hall to the accompaniment of a trumpet fanfare, offering him rose water to wash his hands and face, your gaze falls upon the most remarkable member of the king's entourage, a dirty runt of a boy dressed in goat skins. A herd by the looks of him, he catches your gaze, winks at you, then disappears amongst the throng. Your attention is drawn by Sir Jonas, who serves as Ector's steward, an officer who oversees the estate's food, field and flocks. He's done out assignments for the pages and squires. Roll curtsy. If your lazy trait succeeded earlier, your skill is at -5 due to Kay calling you a layabout. I like that. If you succeed, check the skill and go to 57. If you fail, go to 58. Okay, so we weren't lazy. So I'm glad I clocked that, because I was like, that may have an impact later on. So I need to roll against curtsy. I don't get any encumberments, let's say, no minuses. So curtsy, where are you? You over? Here. So I'm a 10, so I didn't add any bonuses to that. So let's roll. Oh, that's a 9 this time. So yeah, we just pass. Let's go to 57. Your spirit soars. Sir Jonas tells you that he thinks you have grown courteous enough to serve at the table. Very good. You stand by as food is brought out by other pages from the kitchen and laid on the dresser. The roasted boar's head, its mouth stuffed with the small russet apples native to Penlyn, is a centrepiece of the high table. Your job is to prepare and serve Hippocras, a hot spice wine popular during the colder months. You have done this before for Sir Ector at Yuletide, and go about your new duty with practised ease. Having filled a pitcher, you begin moving among knights and ladies, who keep you very busy filling their cups. The aroma of the food already out on the table is intoxicating, and your stomach grumbles resentfully. You know that you have to wait until after the feast for your portion. But this is a cold comfort as your eyes wander over the roasted boar and ginger sauce. Oh, sounds nice. Marrow fritters, meat jellies, ew. Formed in the shape of Sir Ector's coat of arms. Lampreys in sauce, if that's what I think it is. Oh, no. Custard tarts, almond omelettes, herb fritters, sliced cheeses, and haslet, the roasted entrails and genitalia of the boar. You need some sort of distraction from all the food. Do you wish to try and impress the nobles of King Marwan's court? Go to 64. Or do you prefer to eavesdrop on the conversation at the high table? If not, go to 69. Oh, this is interesting. See, so my character is very religious. They like to do good. So I think both of these, I mean, it's not very modest to try and impress someone at King Marwan's court, but also it's not good to eavesdrop. Let me just look at their traits and see which one. Okay, generous. So a highest is merciful. Spiritual's 14. Fast. Do you know what? Okay. Because Gwen is quite worried about why the king is here, I think that's going to cloud her judgment somewhat. And she's going to eavesdrop on the conversation at the high table. She's not interested in impressing. She's interested in knowing what's going on. So I'm going to quickly journal this. The king, because Gwen hasn't met the king before. The king is remarkably young and arrived with his entourage. The feast is in full swing, and I was trusted by, who was it? Sir Ector's steward. Sir Ector's steward to serve. Quite an achievement. I'm very proud. The reason why the king is here plays on my mind. And I want to learn more, even if it's not the best thing to do. So she's acknowledging, it's not ideal, is it, to do this? It's a bit naughty. So yeah, we're going to eavesdrop and go to 69. As you move among the revellers, you do your best to stay invisible. This is what is expected of the page serving at the table, of course, but it also allows you to eavesdrop on the conversation of the various lords and ladies. Most of the talk seems to be centering on some upcoming event at Londinium, the best city in the world. Make an unopposed intrigue roll, okay, to find out what you overhear. If you score a critical success, go to 70. If you succeed, go to 71. If you fail, go to 72. If you fumble, go to 73. Okay, so let's go to intrigue. And we don't have to roll opposed, which is good. So intrigue. Oh, that's 7. So I didn't add anything to that, okay. 7 or below. It's quite hard. We'll see what we get. Oh, 5. Do you know what? I thought that was a 7 at first, but it's not. It's a 5. Okay, we passed. There were some good rolls recently. That's good. Okay, 5. Pass. So if you if you succeed, go to 71. So Ector, will you fight in a Londinium tournament? Ah, no, I've no ambition to be High King. But your son Kay will be knighted by then, yes? Will he fight, if he so wishes? As long as he stays out of King Lot's way. Lot covets the crown above all else, or so I hear. Ooh, okay. So there is an upcoming tournament. I can't lie that I feel some relief. Yeah. Kay may be selected. I think I should for a joust. Okay. Let's go to 74. Yep. It's been a month since you... Oh, wow, okay. It's been a month since you left home in the company of Sir Ector, Sir Kay, and Arthur, and for the entire time you've endured chill, wind and rain, and blowing snow, leaving you wet, cold, and miserable. You have thought often of home, dreamed of the warmth of the hearth and good company. Alice made you promise to tell of the sights of Londinium, so you have much to look forward to when you return, at least. Your journey began at the rough trail that follows the course of River Dee out of Penland to City of Legions. You did not linger long in that thriving seaport, for its merchants and travellers from all over the world, or so it seemed to you, before turning south-east along the old Roman road to the kingdom of Camillard at Carahase Castle. I think I pronounced that wrong. You turned south and entered the great kingdom of Logres, passing over the Chiltern Hills and through the Roman cities of Corinium and Silchester. The latter part of the journey has been unsettling, like riding through enemy territory, thanks to the constant threat of Saxon raiders in this region. Since the defeat of King Nantiliud, or Nantilaud, I think that's pronounced, yeah, Nantilaud of Escavalon at the Battle of Netley Marsh 2 years ago, the Saxon kings of the southeast coast have grown increasingly bold. Sir Ector has had plenty to say about the current political situation during your journey. What have you managed to absorb that the fractious warlords of Britain are doomed to fall one by one to the ambitious Saxons, and that the land in desperate need of a leader who can unify everyone? Nantilaud was the last and best hope for someone to accomplish this by force of arms. Now, by mutual agreement, a tournament is to be held at the old capital city of Londinium on the border of the Saxon kingdoms. The winner, it has been agreed, will be named High King, with great expectations to bring the Saxons to heel. Last night you slept in stables of Castle Staines, where you were surprised to find that the steward in service to Sir Ulfus, the famous Duke of the Val, was himself a Saxon. Ector explained to you that the Saxons of the country of Baroque have long been allies of the Cymry, your people. It's the kings and warlords, Saxon and Cymry alike, who visit so much woe upon our lands, he said with a sigh, staring at the half-fire of the great hall at Staines. You and Arthur listened attentively. The Saxons have their own style of high king, which they call a Bretwalda. Their kings fight amongst themselves as much as they fight us, and our own courts and dukes, inheritors of proud Cymric and Roman traditions, lay siege to each other's castles or usurp thrones from those too weak to hold their claim. Everyone scrambles for the prize, and for what? Power and wealth. That's all they care for. Never such a true statement. 75. This morning you were already on the road when the sun came up and the day dawned cold but clear over frost-rimmed fallow fields and woodland. It was around midday when you first catch sight of Londinium, situated on the mighty River Thames, the greatest city in all of Britain and the world. Its stout Roman walls present an impressive edifice, and within you see countless rooftops, towers and church spires, as well as a truly magnificent Basilica of St. Paul. How can so many people live so close together, says Arthur in wonder, echoing your thoughts. Several Roman roads feed into Londinium. The one you're on, Watling Street, forms the northern boundary of the grounds marked out for the big New Year's tournament. You see a veritable town made of tents, riotous in colour, hosting many to visiting knights and lords due to fight on the morrow. The excitement in the air is palpable. Watling Street passes through the city walls at Newgate, which despite its name is centuries old. Right beneath the gate you note a niche in the apex of the arch, a carven relief depicting a Trojan hero, Corneus, overthrowing the giant Gog-Magog. Sir Ector told you this story during your journey, and you reflect ever since the arrival of Brutus and his Trojans, Britain has seen many waves of invaders from across the sea. You are shaken from your reveries by the sight of the street beyond the gate. Buildings as high as 3 stories crowd in from either side, and the street itself throng men, women, children, horses, asses, dogs, pigs, all in what seemed to be great swirling tumult of jostling, shouting, squealing, bray and racket. Kay, go and see about the lodgings. There's a good lad, says Ector, seeming a bit overwhelmed himself. We will wait for you in the courtyard of St. Paul's, just ahead. There is little need for Ector to point out the location of the famous cathedral, for it is easily the greatest structure in the city, dwarfing even the citadel, the White Tower, and Lud's Castle, the 2 great Roman stone forts on the banks of the Thames. Sir Kay and Arthur carefully guide their mounts through the throngs. You and Ector make for the cathedral. As soon as you enter the courtyard, the noise and chaos of the city seem to fade. You dismount, grateful for an opportunity to stretch your sore muscles and begin tending to the horses. You have barely started on your task when Sir Ector calls you over to some monument erected outside the cathedral's massive doors. As you approach, you see a strange marvel, a great stone block surmounted by an anvil. Driven into the anvil is a sword, still bright and sparkling in the sunshine. Sir Ector brushes aside a bit of snow on the shaded side of the block and points some letters carved into the rock. Like most members of the knightly class, you lack clerical education and do not know your letters, nor does Sir Ector for that matter, but he's heard others tell of the inscription's words. It says something like, "Only the true king can pull me forth." Oh, I think I know what's coming. Or words to that effect. Many knights, including the best in the land, have tried, but all say it will not budge in the slightest. Okay, so I'm just going to read this little bit here. Kay realised his ambition on St. Andrew's Day. This is how it happened. King Marwan took up position in Sir Ector's hall, garbed his finest cloak and tunic. His court assembled behind him. You, Arthur, and the rest of the household lined up near Sir Ector, who looked almost as nervous as Kay. The man of the hour stood pale and resolute in full armour. On his left arm bore a shield, with his right arm he held his helm. He wore neither his sword nor spurs. The king called Kay forth. Kay handed his helm and shield to his father and stepped up. "My people, I am so pleased to be here on this holy day, to see such a worthy young man in the ranks of glorious knighthood. Squire, tell me your name." "Kay, sire." "Kay, sire." "Have you come before me, shriven of your sins and ready to take upon a new life?" "Aye." "Then take this, the last blow you shall ever suffer without recourse." With that, King Marwan slapped Kay hard across the chops. The sound reverberated through the hall, and you saw one of Kay's fists start to clench before he mastered himself. "Kneel before me, Kay." As Kay kneeled, Sir Jonas stepped forward with a sheathed sword. "Do you acknowledge me as your true and rightful liege?" "Yes, sire." "Do you pledge homage and fealty to me, and swear your sword to me, and to be forever at my service?" "I so pledge." Marwan unsheathed the sword and touched the blade to catch of Kay's shoulders. "Then I dub thee Sir Kay, and give my sword to you to be wielded in my name. Arise, Sir Knight." The king belted Sir Kay's sword. I've had me hit him again. The king belted Sir Kay. The king belted Sir Kay's sword about his waist as Arthur, now Sir Kay's squire, moved forward to attach his spurs. Sir Ector then gave back the shield and helm. Sir Kay turned to face the rest of the hall, and everyone cheered. Afterward, he demonstrated his prowess by leaping into the saddle of his charger in full kit, without the use of a stirrup or rein. The whole affair was topped off with another wonderful feast. There was one other change that day. With Kay no longer a squire, Sir Ector was in need of a new one. And so you were promoted as well. Excellent. So I am a squire, and have arrived in London. I marvel at the beauty of St. Paul's. I've only heard about it from others who are so fortunate and brave to venture this far away from home. If you encourage Sir Ector to try pulling the sword... Oh, hang on, have I read that? Ah, yes, so... we're on to the inscription. I don't want to journal just yet because I want to see the outcome first. If you encourage the actor to try pulling the sword, go to 76. If you would like to try pulling the sword yourself, go to 77. I'm going to try it. As Ector strolls over to examine the relief carvings around the doors to the cathedral, you approach the sword in the stone. With a quick look around, you reach out and take hold of the hilt. The white leather wrapping feels cold in your hands. You pull as hard as you can, but what Ector said is true. It feels like the sword is fused with the great iron block of the anvil. That was mighty presumptuous of you. Check proud and go to 78. I like that. I was thinking that does go against my character, but maybe, you know, they got whipped up by being in St. Paul's Cathedral. So, it took advantage of them. Proud, love it. Where is proud? Okay, we're down here. Check proud. Okay, I think we're on to 78 now. I shouldn't have moved this book as much as what I did. 78. So Kate enters the courtyard. I found an inn with a room available. Last one in Londinium. Or so the old crone who runs the place claimed. Father, I think every knight in Britain has come for this tournament. Kay's eyes are bright with excitement, and as the shock of the city has begun wearing off, you can understand why. Save for Rome and Jerusalem, Londinium must be the greatest city in the world. It is indeed. The excitement is infectious. You may help lead your mounts through the streets to the inn stables, get them unpacked and settled in, and report back to Sir Ector outside the inn itself. I expect you'll be wanting to see the city then, he asks. Take the afternoon to explore, but mark that you are back by supper time. You cannot believe your fortune as he hands you 2 silver pennies, just in case you find a souvenir, he says, annoying. Oh, that's nice. You have a few hours to yourself in one of the world's great capitals. What would you like to do? To examine the tournament ground outside the city, go to 91. If you'd prefer to wander the streets for a bit, go to 79. I think we'll go to 79. The city beckons where to visit the Citadel of White Tower, go to 80, check out Dalgate Market, go to 81, stroll through the city's Jewish quarter, go to 84, visit the field of Pendragon where the head of God lies buried outside the walls. If you've already visited 2 of these sites, go to 90. I think I'm going to go to 87, where the head of the God lies buried outside the walls. Because I'm quite a religious person. During your journey, Sir Ector spoke briefly of a field outside the city walls called Pendragon. The druids and pagans say the head of the old god Bran lies buried there, he said, looking uncomfortable but clearly felt with borderline blasphemous talk. He spoke no more of it during the trip, but you resolved to take a look for yourself if possible. You passed by the massive Holy Trinity Priory and through Aldgate. A passing crofter points you to the right direction, and soon you find yourself standing in a small meadow. The battlements of the White Tower look down on you from the south, flocks of ravens circling above the ancient citadel. There is nothing terribly remarkable about this spot. Had you not heard of it, you would have never suspected there was something special about this field. You are not the only one here, though. Through the chill air you hear the strumming of a harp, clear and lovely. Looking round, you see a man of early middle years sitting under the boughs of a small oak tree growing at the edge of the field. He wears a fine woolen cloak woven in a checked pattern and seems lost in a melody he is plucking out on his harp. If you wish to approach the man, go to 88. If you wish to head back to the city, go to 89. I think she's going to go back to the city because I think she can take in the music, but she doesn't want to disturb him like the man in the cave. So we're going to go to 89. Oh, it's a little short one here. The city beckons. Do you wish to continue exploring it? Remember, you have to be back in time for supper. If so, go back to 79. If you've been before, check reckless. Otherwise, go to 91 and take a look at the tournament grounds. Yeah, I think she's going to look at the tournament grounds now. I think she's fulfilled her need for maybe going to a somewhat spiritual place that turned out to potentially be blasphemous. So I think that's put her off. So yeah, she's going to be cautious now and go to the tournament grounds. The east of Londinium proper, between Watling Street and Fleet Street, a large area of untilled fields has been marked out for the big New Year's tournament. The concept of a tournament was a subject of much debate between Sir Ector and Sir Kay on the journey here. It's something new, something unfamiliar, and to Sir Ector it's naturally suspicious. "'Tis but a Frankish thing, accustomed from the continent," he would sniff derisively. "No substitute for a proper battle. You use blunt weapons, you know. There's a challenge in that." "We use blunt weapons when we practice at home," Kay would counter. "I'm rather looking forward to the opportunity to go up against some of the greatest knights in Britain without having to risk life and limb. It sounds like jolly good fun. Besides, we do enough of the real thing. Too much if you ask me. These tournaments, if they catch on, could be a good way for us to work out aggressions without having to go to war all the time." And that's precisely why these tournaments did come about, because they had to kind of give the knights something to do, otherwise they would go a bit stir crazy and start attacking towns and things. So yeah, that was actually a real reason for the purpose of jousting, so they could burn off all the training they had without turning massively aggressive. Now, walking the grounds, you spot several interesting sights to explore. Looking at the tents, you notice several well-known standards flying from tent poles. Perhaps you might encounter a famous knight while walking the aisles. Then there is a market when you see vendor stalls and some kind of entertainment taking place. Judging from the shouting and cheers as well as the barking of large dogs, you'd guess it is a bull baiting contest. Last year, and most curiously, you spot a corral filling with squires armed with staves. If you did not know any better, you would say that a fight is about to break out. Ooh, where would you like to go? Take a stroll among the knights' tents, go to 93. To check out the market and animal... No, she doesn't want to go to see animal fights, 96, because she's a bit funny about the pig being killed, so she's like, no. To see what's going on with the squires in the corral, go to 102. If you've suffered an injury and required treatment, go to 120. I don't think she has. If you've seen enough for the day, go to 121. I am going to be nosy and take a stroll amongst the tents nights, because I think she wants to see kind of what night's life is like. So we've got to go to 93. The tent city hosts an overflow of knights and their entourages who could not find lodging in the city. Row upon row of colourful tents and pavilions, from tiny to palatial, create a veritable labyrinth populated by martial men and women. Pennants fluttering from each tent pole display the arms of the knight resting within. Squires run to and fro on missions for their lords. Knights sit outside their tents chatting with compatriots, strumming their harps or playing games of skill to pass the time. You pause outside one large tent, party-coloured yellow and blue, which you recognise as the heraldry of the Count of Salisbury. A knight is stepping out of the tent, and although you realise you're blocking the way, you cannot help but gawp. Although you are aware that women may become knights, they are almost unheard of where you come from. But here in the flesh is a woman knight. Oh, I'm glad I did this now. She is obviously a veteran of many years of fighting. Her steel hair nearly matches the iron of her armour. Her hands are rough and knotted, and you spot a couple of small but nasty scars on her face. Following her is a young man, about half his age, but dressed as a knight. He is almost a mirror image of the other. Fresh face, unblemished, but he shares her martial bearing, and they are clearly at ease with each other. Is it also intrusively obvious that he is a social better? Interesting. If you wish to talk to the man, go to 94. If you wish to talk to the woman, go to 95. If you wish to get out of their way, go to 92. I think we're going to go to... Do you know what? I was going to get out of their way, but I'm going to go to 95 because I want, I'm in awe of this lady. You give the woman knight a courteous bow. She, a well-mannered young squire, she says. You could teach a few others around here a thing or two about defence and courtesy. Using your methods, Dame Aspera, asked her young companion, winking. I still feel the sting of your rod across the back of my neck. She snorts derisively. It was good enough for your father, and it was good enough for you too. Nonsense, you fought alongside my father. You never tutored him. No, but we still taught each other much about the ways of the sword and lance and what it means to be a knight. Those lessons which raise welts and scars tend to last longer than those that do not. Fair enough, I suppose. Before you can stop yourself, you blurt out a question. You served under King Uther, then? Aspara's face grows grim. 2 kings, in fact. I first swore my sword to King Aureus, the Pendragon. May the saints preserve him, and his brother Uther, yes. You sense you have touched upon a sensitive topic, but she gives you a smile to show there are no hard feelings. I take my service very seriously. I'm a descendant of the Amazons, you know. My ancestors served the Romans in Cornwall and Brittany, and I continue their tradition and honour their memory in my every word and deed. Interesting. If you already talked to Dame Aspera's companion, or do not wish to, then go to 92. If you wish to talk to Dame Aspera's companion, go to 94. Joe, I'm going to go to 94. You apologise to the young man for getting in the way. Think nothing of it, child, says the young man. I think we're all in each other's way for time being. He looks around at the packed aisles going down to you again. I am Sir Robert, Count Salisbury. Who are you and whom do you serve? He asks with a friendly smile. You tell him, then he asks if you have any plans to fight in a tournament. Certainly, I intend to do my best, though I mark my odds of winning poorly. As long as we get a king out of this, I will be happy. Our land bleeds without one. Robert tells you a bit about his county, hard up against the Saxon kingdom of Wessex, and subjected to raids and crushing tribute payments ever since the death of his father, Roderick, 15 years ago. My mother managed as best as she could with the help of her council of knights, including Dame Aspera here. But last year, after the Battle of Netley Marsh, I insisted on taking my birthright as count. Though there be no king to crown me, he barks a short, sardonic laugh. Ah. So I've spoken to Dame Aspera already, so we go back to 92. Where would you like to go? I think I've seen enough for the day, so I'm going to go to 121. The day which began so early and has been full of wonders is catching up with you at last. Your senses buzzing. You make your way back to the inn and collapse into sleep at the foot of Sir Ector's bed. Tomorrow the tournament begins in earnest. But by the end of the day, Britain will have a new High King. Ooh, I think I haven't been journaling. I've been getting too into this now. Right, okay. So I tried to pull the sword out of the stone. It didn't work. So I'll say, oh, my pen dried out now. Upon my folly of trying to pull the sword out of the stone, I chose to explore Londinium. Did I mention the bit where I saw the god's head, the pagan god, I believe? No, I don't think I did. I visited a burial site of an ancient god. It unnerved me somewhat. So I left. I wandered some more and visited the Knights Quarter, let's just say. I got talking to Dame Aspera and her squire. It seems everyone wants peace, and they are hopeful to crown a new High King. Can you imagine if Kay wins this tournament? Okay. 122. The day dawns overcast and cold, but the city is already up to greet the weak sun. Such is the excitement for the New Year's tournament. Your morning at the inn is spent in a flurry of activity, gathering the equipment needed for tournament fight, helping Sir Ector prepare his hauberk, helm, and shield, feeding and preparing his charger down in the stables. That and the countless other tasks which keep you running about non-stop until the sun is peeking up over the rooftops. Arthur is every bit as harried and hurried in his duties for Sir Kay, so it's with some sense of relief that you both mount your rounceys and fall in line behind your knights. You exchange smiles, letting your agitation give way to excitement. Along the way, Sir Ector briefs you. We are to be divided into two cohorts, the Red Knights and the Blue Knights, and will fight a mock battle called a melee. Knights earn tally marks for performing great deeds on the field, such as knocking an opponent off their horse, taking a foe captive, or even performing a particularly thrilling display of martial prowess. The Lord Mayor of Londinium himself and the guild masters of the city sit as judges and keep a record of our marks. At the end of the day, the knight with the most tally marks is declared the new Knight of Honour, and in this instance acclaimed the new High King of Britain. As squires, you are to ride onto the field with us, but not to fight. Your job is to hold back and look for ways to assist us, to replace a broken last, drag us off the field if we're knocked out, or to escort any prisoners we may capture back to the reset, which is our end of the field. Your head spins with all the rules and new duties, but you are determined to do right by Sir Ector. At the tournament grounds, a large noisy scrum is formed. Around tables where harried heralds are assigning overexcited knights to their cohorts, Ector and Kay dismount and take their place at the back of the mob when you notice that Ector is without his sword. You grab it from his charger and hustle forth to help him belt up around his thick waist. He grunts in approval. "Well, fetch my sword," says Kay absent-mindedly. Arthur turns pale. I forgot it back at the inn, Kay." Kay's face turns to crimson with anger. "Oh, Arthur," says Ector disapprovingly. "Quick now, there's a good lad. Go back and get it, or your brother will be without his sword on the field." Arthur is off like a dart, shouting promises to be back with his sword in a twinkling. Minutes pass by. Ector and Kay give their names to the heralds and assigns the Red Knights. Kay keeps looking about for Arthur with murderous eyes. What could be keeping that inattentive fool? He turns to you. "Go find the whelp and bring him back with my sword. Or so help me." You do not need to be told twice. Go to 123. Most of Londinium is at the tournament, and you run through Newgate and down the town's empty streets. It's quite eerie, really. The city, filled with so many people just this morning, is now as quiet as a cemetery. Your heart is in your throat when you reach the inn. You find Arthur, but he sits against the front door, head on his folded knees. He looks up at your approach, and you see his arms are rimmed red. "They closed up the inn," he wails and bangs the door with his fist. "Everyone is at the tournament. I can't get Kay's sword. Oh, what am I to do?" Your mind races and several solutions suggest themselves. You could try to break into the inn. This is an emergency, and surely the Lord would forgive some petty larcenary in the same of fetching Kay's sword. But then you suddenly remember that there is another sword that no one is using, the one in the cathedral courtyard. If you want to break into the inn to fetch Kay's sword, go to 124. If you wish to tell Arthur about the sword in the stone, go to 125. If you wish to retrieve the sword from the stone yourself, go to 126. Do you know what I feel? And I've got a point of pride before, but I think out of desperation, Gwen isn't, thinking straight. She's stressed. She wants to help Arthur as much as she can. And she is going to go to 126. She's going to try and retrieve the sword herself. Arthur is desperate. You simply must retrieve that sword for him. Telling Arthur that you'll be right back, you march down to courtyard St. Paul's. There you find the sword, reposing in its strange spot of honour, the cold winter sun reflecting off its steel. Rubbing your hands together and flexing your neck, you approach. A bit of strength is all that is needed, surely. To think that someone wasted a perfectly good sword in setting up this tawdry tourist attraction. Check proud for thinking you know better. Oh, I've checked it twice now. What does that mean? I need to check this. Okay, so I've checked proud twice now, so Gwen is getting very proud. You put your hands on the hill, plant your feet, and heave to no avail. It will not budge. You clamber halfway up the rock and try moving the sword by placing both hands under the crossbar. But only manage to slice the side of your left hand on the blade as you struggle. It's still sharp, even after all these years. "What are you doing?" The voice is Arthur's. You see him standing at the courtyard gate, a quizzical expression on his face. You tell him about seeing this sword the day before with Sir Ector. "I thought if I could pull it out, you could give it to Kay." Arthur beams. "Here, let me try." You know he's being generous and trying to save you from embarrassment, but you step aside and let him approach. A light snow begins to fall. You watch as he steps up to the stone, reaches out and lightly closes his hand around the sword's hilt. There is a sound of steel scraping on metal and your mouth falls open as Arthur pulls the sword straight out of the anvil, as if it were oil scabbard. Arthur's face splits into a wide grin and he beams at you. "You've saved my skin, no mistake," he says, and off he goes this time, to the tournament grounds. You follow in mute shock. Surely someone must have loosened it. Go to 128. You arrive back at the tournament grounds to find Sir Kay pacing up and down the sidelines. Most of the knights are already on the field and the sound of cheering crowds fills your ears. The melee has begun. "What in the name of Jesu took you so long?" he bellows. In the next moment he sees the sword in Arthur's hand. "And whose sword is that?" "I found it, Kay," says Arthur, fighting for breath. "It's a good sword, I promise." Kay takes it in his hand and gives it a couple of swings, looking impressed despite his anger. Before he can say anything else, though, Sir Ector rides up practically, jumps off his horse. "Kay, where did you get that sword?" His eyes are wide with astonishment. "I found it, father," says Kay without hesitation. "You found it?" asks Ector, somewhat incredulous. "Well, no, he did." Kay points to Arthur, and Ector takes his youngest son by the shoulders, looking him square in the eye. "Is what Kay said true, son?" asks Hector, his voice husky with emotion. Yes, father, please don't be mad at him. This is all my fault. I stole the sword from the courtyard of St. Paul's. I shall put it back at once, if you only let me. Arthur's wails of protest draw the attention of several nearby knights, who themselves have not yet entered the melee. One, an aged man of regal bearing, who wears the arms of Camillard on his surcoat, rushes forward. What's that? He's drawn it, the sword in the stone. Others quickly take up the cry. The sword! He's drawn the sword! Go to 129. The news spreads like fire across ripened wheat fields. I don't believe it. I have to see it myself. Make him draw it again, to the churchyard. Then is all madness. A throng of people surges away from the tournament grounds towards the city. Sir Ector throws Arthur on the back of his nervous Ramsay. Arrive at St. Paul's and put the sword back, lad. Put it back. Ector says with fear in his eyes. You'd best do the same, Ector shouts at you, lest you'll be trampled. Hop on. You swing into the saddle behind Arthur and join the rest of the knights streaming through Newgate. Fortunately, with your head start, you can avoid the worst of the press. Go to 130. Murmuring crowds of horses, commoners, clergymen, knights, squires, lords and ladies, pack St. Paul's courtyard and surround the cathedral steps in a wide arc. Luckily, you and Arthur made it in just in time before they arrived. You dismount and approach the anvil and stone with Arthur. A single horn sounds. The crowd suddenly grows quiet as you see two wizened old men being escorted from the rectory to the top of the cathedral stairs behind the anvil and stone. One is dressed in gilded bishop's cassock, the other in ragged, filthy robes. It's the Archbishop St. Dubricus, someone shouts in the crowd. Ave Sanctus Dubricus, Ave, cries the pious Roman lady, hands clasped. The old man kindly smiles and makes a sign of the cross in the air. Dozens of people drop to their knees to accept the blessing. And that's Merlin, the Archdruid of Britain, standing next to him. Why is he here? Says Sir Ector with a haunted look, finally catching up to you and Arthur with a mounted Sir Kay close behind. You notice that Merlin and Ector look at each other with deep meaning. Then, with the crowd looking on, Arthur replaces a sword. It slips back into its slot, the anvil, with a metallic hiss. He steps back and watches the courtyard fill with more knights, fresh from the tournament melee. Many are dripping with sweat, and some nurse minor wounds. Arthur looks very young all of a sudden, beside the sword in the stone. A mighty man, powerful of build, arrogant of aspect, jumps from a saddle. You know this man by reputation. He is King Lot of Lothian, one of the greatest warriors in all of Britain. He shoves Arthur aside. If this thing is going to move, it will move for me, he declares to the crowd. Lot, is how all knights chant in encouragement. He grabs the hilt with both mailed hands and puts all his bear-like strength into the effort. But the sword will not move. He tries again with no success, his face now red with exertion and frustration. Let the boy try, someone shouts. Was it Merlin? And then many more shout in agreement. Yes, let the boy try. Lot stares down at Arthur with angry eyes and steps aside to rejoin his knights. Sir Ector, now beside Arthur, nods to him, and Arthur lays one hand gently upon the sword and easily pulls it from the anvil. The crowd, noble and commoner alike, gasps. He then slides it back in place. Another knight dismounts and shouts, It's my turn. I, King Uriens of Gore, shall pull the sword, and pushes his way to the rock. Like Lot before him, Uriens grabs the sword, tugs, pulls, and tries to manhandle it free, giving his full armoured shoulder to the task. But the sword does not budge. As Uriens walks away flustered, the lad again steps up and pulls the sword effortlessly. The High King, shouts someone. He's the High King. It's the prophecy. The boy drew the sword, shouts King Leogrance to the crowd. This boy is the Pendragon. A few people in the crowd lower to their knees. Not where I live, shouts Lot, who draws his own sword and strides towards Arthur. His bodyguards dismount and fall into place a few steps behind him. You are the one who saw Arthur pull the sword in it the first time. Now you see Lot advancing with murder in his eyes. You know the right thing to do is speak up in Arthur's defence. But can you summon the courage in this moment of decision? Make a valorous versus cowardly roll. Ooh, I'm hoping. So valorous is 15, cowardly is 5. Okay. So let's roll not below 15. Oh, sorry, we want below 15 rather than above. 12, thank goodness. So we pass. I might do some quick reflections, actually. I can't believe what I have seen. Arthur has pulled the sword from the stone. I can't believe I tried twice. I'm not even sure why. I don't want to be king. Queen? God has chosen Arthur, and I must see his will is done. Yes, so quite a nice religious tie in there. Okay, so if you succeed at Valorous, check the trait. Yes, we are officially a brave and valiant knight. I'll check it in my little check sheet. Where are we? Where's my character sheet? Valorous. Check. I need to put 2 checks extra proud as well. We're proud yet valorous. Where are we? 131. Wait, you cry, arms wide, and stand between King Lot and Arthur. Lot halts, turning his furious gaze on you. You swallow hard, then continue. I saw Arthur, this youth here, pull the sword the first time. None of you could pull it when you tried. He is our new king. Lot takes 2 steps towards you and strikes you with his mailed left hand, inflicting 6 points of damage. It's like being struck by a boulder. You feel your back teeth crack and you drop to the ground as blood gushes from your cheek. I don't think I am like unconscious or anything, because I haven't taken any damage beforehand. Let's see. Oh, hit points 27, so -6. Got 21 left. I'm sure I'll be fine. The blow ignites the passions of all assembled, and a terrific melee suddenly breaks out as knights from many different kingdoms rush towards the cathedral steps. For a sickening red haze, you see Arthur pull the blade once more, and it seems to your eyes that it still flashes with a strange ghost light. Arthur then steadies himself against the anvil and defends himself against Lot. Go to 133. Now King Leodgrance and his men and half a dozen other kings and many, many knights swarm between King Lot and Arthur. The boy drew the sword, says Leodgrance. He is by right the Pendragon of Britain. No beardless boy shall ever be my king, shouts King Lot. Nor mine, says someone. Nor mine, come other voices. I say he's my king, shouts Leodgrance. And he suddenly kneels before Arthur and proffers his sword. Arthur, with tears streaming down his face, gently takes it, saying with a strangely mature countenance, As I am king, I accept your offer. Lot, seeing that he and his men are surrounded and outnumbered, he throws his blunted sword to the ground with a clatter. I'll be back for a sword that won't fail me, he says, baring his teeth, and leaps atop his horse. His guards pivot and spur their steeds, nearly trampling those left in the crowd. Others are doing the same, and a reproachful howl goes up from the crowd as they go. Hail King Arthur, shouts Sir Ector, thrusting his sword aloft. The whelp, cries Sir Kay, looking astonished. Hail King Arthur, echoes the crowd, and now Kay joins in again. Hail King Arthur, and again, Hail King Arthur. You look up and see Archbishop Dubricus on the cathedral steps, and catch him nodding and smiling at Merlin, who smiles back and bows his head. Merlin's eyes suddenly dart to yours, and he winks at you, then disappears amongst the throng. You shake your head in amazement at the cheering crowds, who have now lifted Arthur on their shoulders. It looks like your dear friend Arthur, with whom you have shared a bench, muck stables and polished armour, is now to be the High King of Britain. But what will be your fate, young squire, if you successfully freed the bull, tried to pull the sword from the stone for Arthur, or defended Arthur against King Lot? Go to 135. Otherwise you have 7 years of service at Sir Ector's side ahead of you, and in time you may well be knighted. Your actions during this adventure presage your future. What kind of knight would you like to be? Ooh, so I'll go to 135, because I think because I went out of my way to do some good deeds, it means maybe I get promoted a little bit quicker. 135. We must knight you first, I suppose, Sir Ector says to Arthur amidst the jostling and tumult. Arthur nods slowly as everything sinks in and turns to you. And I need a squire I can trust, he says, a twinkle in his eye. You grin at each other. You have 7 years of service as a king's squire ahead of you, and in time you may well be knighted. Your actions during this adventure presage your future. What kind of knight will you want to be? Go to 134. You have played a part, however small, in the birth of a new era. The boy king, as Arthur will soon be called, has many challenges ahead, but his reign will leave its mark on Britain and the world forever. So story awards, reward action, +2 for each skill check. Okay, so let me try and think what I did here. So So for each skill check, I think I did... Oh, Christ. Oh, I can't remember how many skills I checked now. I think I've done at least 2. The boar. 2. Maybe I've done about 4, you know. Oh, passion check, I think, is... Well, it matters, really, but... Oh, I've got 1 passion, so that's +2. Skill check. So I definitely did 1 passion. So I've got that. I think I did... Let me see. I want to say 2, but I think it's a bit more. Hunting I did. Religion I did. I remember doing that. Yeah, I'm going to say 2. So we've got 7. 7 story awards. Chivalrous trait check, no. +1 for any trait check as noted below. If you killed the boar single-handed. If a nobleman gave you fence, you set the boar free. For each round you withheld damage dice in bowhawk. For each opponent you defeated in bowhawk. If you told off about sword and stone, yeah, I think I did. +2. That's 5. 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I think I've got 14, 15. So that's 4 there. 5, 6, 7. 7 for the first 2. Then for any trait check. Oh, for any trait check except as noted below. Okay, cool. I think all these are the traits I pretty much did. I think I did quite a few trait checks. I think I did quite a lot here. Maybe I'm underselling myself. I think I did about 4 trait checks, you know. Yeah, so let's just say out of the ones here, so I didn't kill the boar. So +2 for R from the sword and the stone, so that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so that's 13. Linked and allows the good folk for each check opposed to a religious chivalrous check. If you were tardy, return to Ector after exploring city. No, if your opponent died. Broken city. No, for staying quiet. So, no, and I don't think I did an opposed religious check or chivalrous trait. Let's have a look. Unless pride is opposite chivalrous. No, it's modest. So I think we're okay. So I think we've got 13, 14, 15, 17, 21, 22, 20. That's 24, isn't it? 13 plus 7 is 20. What kind of knight are you? Oh, okay. I thought I had to roll here for some reason. Got more than 18. I am a knight of the Round Table. You are knighted by Sir Ector or King Arthur and go on to a great career. You are among the first to receive personal invitations to the King of his esteemed martial order, the Knights of the Round Table, a few years hence. Your name is destined to be remembered in tales. Oh, that's amazing. So Gwen became a Knight of the Round Table. That's really cool. I mean, yeah, I love playing this. And I definitely want to do like a bigger campaign in the future, solo, reprising my role as Gwen, Knight of the Round Table. Yes, I really liked how this feeds into creating, I suppose, a compelling narrative. It's part of the game where your personality traits either double down. So even though Gwen is a Knight of the Round Table, we can see from here she's acquired a couple of proud points. We need to keep this in mind. She could be very prideful. but yet quite, what's the word? Religious at the same time. So it's an opposition to her modesty, let's say. So that could be quite an interesting flaw she's got, because it's in direct opposition for what she sort of prides herself on, without looking for a better word. Really, really enjoyed that. And yep, I believe this was a brilliant little starter into the world of Pendragon. Explained all the rules nicely, and it was really helpful in showing me how to get to grips with the game. So I highly recommend this if you haven't played Pendragon before, because it's a great little intro to the game. And I do think it's quite I wouldn't say a simple game to pick up. I suppose it is simple, but that's not because it lacks anything. I think it's just a very well structured game that is a lot of the fluff, I think, as what some games have, has been removed. It's very intuitive. And I think because it relies on personality traits, if you are that way inclined in terms of, if you're playing D&D, you're always thinking of how, what was my character going to do next? And you kind of imbue a bit of yourself in that, or your imagination. This is definitely an ideal game, because I really like how, it's not just about leveling up, let's say, and getting better at specific, qualities, spells, or fighting combat. It's about who you are as a person, and how that changes the decisions you make, and whether that means you sort of stumble across good opportunities, or potentially find yourself in bad situations because of the route you take, let's say. But really, really enjoyed playing this. And I'm not sure what I'm going to play for my next video, but I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.